87% of organizations that implement a software asset management tool still cannot answer a simple question. How many licenses do we own versus how many are we using? The problem is not the tool. The problem is that most organizations buy a SAM tool expecting magic, but get a data swamp instead. I am Shub, the license nerd. And today I am going to show you exactly how to choose, implement, and succeed with SAM technology. This is the episode that separates SAM programs that deliver millions in savings from those that become expensive shelfware. Let us start with the fundamental architecture of SAM technology. Every SAM solution, regardless of vendor, performs 4 core functions. First, discovery, finding every piece of software installed across your environment. Second, normalization, translating raw discovery data into standardized software titles. Third, reconciliation, matching what you have deployed against what you are entitled to use. Fourth, optimization, identifying savings opportunities like unused licenses, downgrade rights, and redundant products. These 4 pillars form the SAM technology stack. The question is not whether you need all 4. You do. The question is whether you get them from one vendor or assemble them yourself. Discovery is your foundation. Without accurate discovery, everything else fails. There are 3 types of discovery. Agent-based discovery installs a small software agent on every endpoint. It gives you the deepest visibility. Installed software, hardware specs, usage frequency, last access dates. The downside? You need to deploy and maintain agents across thousands of machines. Agentless discovery uses network scanning, Active Directory queries, and remote protocols to detect software without installing anything. It is faster to deploy, but less detailed. Cloud discovery connects via APIs to your SaaS platforms, Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud, to identify cloud-based software consumption. Most enterprises need all 3 working together. Here is where most SAM programs fail. Normalization. Your discovery tool finds software installed as Microsoft Office Professional Plus 2019 x64 on one machine, MS Office Pro Plus 2019 on another, and Office 16 Click to Run on a third. These are all the same product. Normalization maps these hundreds of variations to a single canonical software title. The industry's best normalization libraries contain over 30 million software recognition signatures. Without proper normalization, your license position report is meaningless because you cannot reconcile what you cannot identify. Now let us talk about the major players. The SAM tool market has 3 dominant platforms, each with distinct strengths. Flexera 1 is the deepest license intelligence platform. It excels at complex license reconciliation for vendors like Oracle, IBM, and SAP, where licensing rules are incredibly complex. Snow Atlas provides excellent discovery and normalization with a strong focus on cloud and SaaS visibility. It offers a clean user interface and strong integration capabilities. ServiceNow SAM Pro leverages the power of the ServiceNow platform. If your organization already uses ServiceNow for ITSM, the integration advantage is massive. Your CMDB, incident management, change management, and SAM all share the same data model. But here is what nobody tells you about SAM tools. The tool is only 20% of the solution. The other 80% is data quality, process maturity, and people. I have seen organizations spend $2 million on a top-tier tool and still fail because they had no process to maintain data quality. I have seen organizations succeed with a spreadsheet because they had disciplined processes and dedicated people. The tool amplifies what you already have. If you have good processes, a good tool makes them great. If you have bad processes, a good tool just gives you faster access to bad data. This is the single most important lesson in SAM technology. Let me introduce the concept of the single source of truth. This is the holy grail of SAM technology. Your single source of truth is the one authoritative system where your complete effective license position lives. It answers 3 questions definitively. What software do we have deployed? What are we entitled to use? What is our compliance gap or surplus? Without a single source of truth, different teams give different answers.
Finance says you own 1,000 licenses based on purchase orders. IT says you have 800 deployed based on the CMDB. The vendor says you need 1,200 based on their audit script. 3 different numbers, 3 different sources, 0 confidence. Your SAM tool must become your single source of truth, the one number everyone trusts. Here is my framework for choosing the right SAM tool. I call it the RAPID framework. R stands for requirements. Before you look at any vendor, document your specific needs. How many endpoints? Which vendors are your biggest risk? Do you need SaaS management? Cloud optimization? What is your budget? A stands for architecture. Does the tool fit your existing technology ecosystem? If you are a ServiceNow shop, fighting against that integration is expensive. If you are multi-platform, you need something vendor neutral. P stands for people. Do you have the staff to maintain a complex tool? I stands for intelligence. How deep is the license knowledge? Can it handle complex processor licensing? D stands for data. What discovery sources does it support? Can it ingest data from your existing tools? How good is the normalization library? Let me show you what a successful SAM tool implementation looks like versus a failed one. Organization A bought a top-tier tool, spent 6 months implementing it, loaded their data, and declared victory. 6 months later, the data was stale, nobody was maintaining entitlements, and the tool showed a $2 million compliance gap that was actually a data quality issue. They spent $2 million on the tool and got 0 value. Organization B took a different approach. Before buying any tool, they spent 3 months cleaning their data, documenting their processes, and training their team. They implemented in phases: discovery first, then normalization, then reconciliation, then optimization. Each phase was validated before moving to the next. Within 12 months, they identified $1.5 million in savings and reduced their audit risk by 90%. Same tool category, completely different outcomes. The difference was preparation. The implementation roadmap has 4 phases. Phase 1 is foundation. This takes 4 to 8 weeks. You deploy discovery agents, configure network scanning, and connect cloud APIs. The goal is to see everything. Phase 2 is intelligence. This takes 6 to 12 weeks. You configure normalization rules, import your entitlement data from purchase orders and contracts, and build your software catalog. Phase 3 is reconciliation. This takes 8 to 16 weeks. You match deployments against entitlements, identify compliance gaps, and validate the results with stakeholders. Phase 4 is optimization. This is ongoing. You build automated workflows for license harvesting, create compliance dashboards, and establish recurring reconciliation cycles. Most organizations try to do all 4 phases simultaneously and fail. Do them sequentially. Validate each phase before moving forward. Now, let us talk about the hidden costs that nobody mentions during the sales process. License cost is just the beginning. Implementation services typically cost 1 to 3 times the license fee. Data migration and cleanup can take hundreds of hours. Integration with your CMDB, procurement system, and contract management adds complexity. Annual maintenance and content subscriptions add 15 to 25% per year. Staff training and certification is essential but often forgotten. And here is the biggest hidden cost: ongoing data maintenance. Your SAM tool needs constant feeding. New purchases, retired assets, organizational changes, new deployments. If you do not budget for ongoing maintenance, your tool becomes shelfware within 18 months. The total cost of ownership for an enterprise SAM tool over 5 years is typically 3 to 5 times the initial license cost. Let me address the elephant in the room: SaaS management. Traditional SAM tools were built for on-premises software, but today 60 to 70% of enterprise software spend is SaaS. This has created a new category of tools: SaaS management platforms. These tools focus specifically on SaaS discovery, spend optimization, and renewal management. They connect to your single sign-on, expense systems, and browser extensions to find every SaaS application, including shadow IT that nobody approved. The question is, do you need a separate SaaS management tool, or can your SAM platform handle both? Major SAM platforms have added SaaS capabilities, but dedicated SaaS platforms are typically deeper in SaaS-specific features, like usage analytics, auto-renewal alerts, and duplicate app detection. My recommendation: if your SaaS spend exceeds 40% of total software spend, consider a dedicated SaaS management layer alongside your traditional SAM tool. Here is my controversial take. You do not always need an enterprise SAM tool. For organizations with fewer than 5,000 endpoints and simple licensing, mostly Microsoft and Adobe, a well-maintained spreadsheet combined with your existing discovery tools can be more effective than a poorly implemented enterprise tool. The key factors that push you toward an enterprise tool are complex vendor licensing, like Oracle, IBM, or SAP, more than 10,000 endpoints, multi-cloud environments, regulatory compliance requirements, frequent vendor audits. If you have 3 or more of these factors, invest in an enterprise platform. If you have fewer than 3, start with process maturity and basic tooling. You can always upgrade later, but you cannot buy your way out of bad processes. Integration is where SAM tools either shine or struggle. Your SAM tool does not exist in isolation. It must connect to your CMDB for hardware and relationship data, your procurement system for purchase order data, your contract management system for entitlement data, your HR system for user counts and organizational structure, Active Directory for user and device information, cloud management platforms for Azure, AWS, and GCP consumption, your ITSM platform for change and incident correlation. Each integration point is a potential failure point. Data flows in both directions, and if any source provides bad data, your SAM tool inherits that corruption. This is why I always recommend starting with the CMDB. If your CMDB is healthy, your SAM tool has a strong foundation. If your CMDB is garbage, fix that first. Let me give you the ROI framework for justifying SAM tool investment. There are 5 categories of measurable return. Category 1, license optimization savings. Harvesting unused licenses saves 15 to 30% of annual software spend. Category 2, audit cost avoidance. Being audit ready reduces settlement costs by 60 to 80%. Category 3, renewal negotiation leverage. Accurate data gives you 5 to 15% better renewal terms. Category 4, redundant software elimination. Identifying duplicate tools saves 10 to 20%. Category 5, cloud right-sizing. Matching cloud subscriptions to actual usage saves 20 to 40% on cloud spend. For a typical enterprise spending $50 million annually on software, a well-implemented SAM tool delivers $3 to $8 million in annual savings. That is a 6 to 16 times return on a $500,000 annual investment. Here is your SAM tool selection checklist. The 10 questions you must ask every vendor before signing. 1. How large is your normalization library and how often is it updated? 2. Can you demonstrate reconciliation for our top 3 most complex vendors? 3. What discovery methods do you support? 4. How do you handle virtualization and container licensing? 5. What is your implementation timeline and what resources do we need to provide? 6. Show me 3 customer references in our industry and size. 7. What is the total cost of ownership over 5 years, including all services? 8. How do you handle SaaS and cloud subscription management? 9. What reporting and dashboard capabilities are included out of the box? 10. What happens to our data if we decide to leave? These 10 questions will separate serious contenders from marketing presentations. Let me leave you with the most important principle of SAM technology. The best tool is the one your team will actually use. I have seen million-dollar platforms gathering dust because they were too complex for the team. I have seen simple tools delivering massive value because the team was engaged and the processes were solid. Start with your maturity level. If you are at level 1 or 2 on the SAM maturity model, start simple. Get your processes right. Build your data quality. Then invest in technology that amplifies your existing capabilities. Technology is an accelerator, not a substitute for competence. Master the fundamentals first, then let the tool multiply your impact. If this video helped you understand the SAM technology landscape, hit that subscribe button and share it with your IT asset management team. In the next episode, we are tackling cloud license management. How to manage licenses across Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud without losing your mind or your budget. The cloud changes everything about how we think about software licensing, and I am going to break it all down. I'm Shub, the license nerd, and I will see you in the next one. Keep building, keep optimizing.